More than 100 large wildfires are burning across more than 2 million acres of land in the United States. The massive Dixie wildfire in Northern California is now the second largest fire in state history. It has burned about 765 square miles, more than 2.5 times the size of New York City. 45-mile-per-hour wind gusts are intensifying wildfires in Montana and Oregon. Forecasters warn another dangerous heat wave this week could cause even more damage. In Greece, wildfires have forced more than 2,000 people to leave the island of Evia. Officials say the wildfires have burned more than 140,000 acres in the last 10 days. As Greece faces dangerous infernos and its most extreme heat wave in 3 decades, the world's leading climate scientists have issued a stark warning about global warming. CBS News foreign correspondent Roxana Saberi has more.
The report is sobering. It says our emissions are warming the world fast, and it's certain to keep warming in the coming decades. But just how hot and how dire the disasters get depend on how we act now. From fires like those that have been raging across Greece and Turkey, to flooding and heat waves and drought in the U.S. The UN report says global warming is rapidly hitting every region of the world in unprecedented ways. And it's unequivocal that we are to blame, with global carbon emissions higher than at any time in at least 2 million years.
We are responsible for it.
Yuri Rogel is a senior author of the report. How alarmed should we be?
We are not yet on a track to even stop this warming from further increasing. So yes, we should be alarmed.
Also alarming, the report finds that melting ice sheets and sea level rise caused by global warming are irreversible for centuries to millennia, even if we limit our emissions today. The scientists point out we've already made the world nearly 2 degrees hotter than pre-industrial levels. And if it warms another roughly 2 degrees, the upper target set by the 2015 Paris Climate Treaty, every region will feel the heat much more intensely. The scientists warn the world could get there and beyond this century unless we drastically cut our carbon, methane, and other greenhouse gas emissions now. Is it too late to act?
It is never too late. Every bit of warming that we can avoid will be beneficial to us. Acting together is absolutely necessary. In a global way, this challenge can really be overcome. The report was approved by every country in the world. It's sure to push governments to commit to cutting emissions faster ahead of a big UN climate summit in Scotland this fall. Tanya?
Roxana Saberi, thank you. For more, I want to bring in Eric Roston. He's a sustainability editor at Bloomberg. Roston breaks down the 3,900-page assessment in a new published article. Eric, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So scientists certainly did not mince words with this report. This was a blistering assessment on climate change. What main areas did the report assess, and why is it so significant?
It's significant because they have reached a new level of what scientists wouldn't call alarm, but really is alarming. They found and were very articulate that humanity has caused really more than 100% of the warming that we've seen. And the reason that's possible is because we also emit some chemicals that cool the planet too. So we mask a little bit of our own problem. It's the 6th time they've issued a report since 1990 of this kind. And it's the first tranche. We will see 2 more reports concerning the impacts of climate change and the mitigation or policy options to deal with it. Those are coming next year.
So scientists say they see no end to rising temperatures before 2050. Is that if we don't do something more drastic, or that's no matter what we do?
The problem, as difficult as it is to fix, is quite simple to state. And one of the major findings of this report is that the scientists have more confidence than ever that there's a very direct relationship between carbon dioxide emissions and temperature. So for the first time, they've been able to say that if carbon dioxide emissions end, the temperature rise will stop. Now, where we are in terms of actually transforming our systems is at once challenging, we're way behind, Yuri, who Roxana talked about earlier in this segment, expressed that, I think, eloquently more than anybody else could. But at the same time, it's important to recognize that the seeds of change are here. The seeds of change are, to follow the metaphor, I guess, are starting to bud. We see it in energy technologies. We see it in transportation technologies. We see it in energy use and efficiency. So we have all the tools we need to fix the problem. We know how to fix the problem. We just need to get moving a little faster. That's what the scientists are saying.
And does the Paris Climate Accord address this problem adequately?
Yes. The negotiators in 2015 from 195 countries decided that the best target to shoot for would be to limit global warming to 1.5 or at most 2 degrees Celsius. That's, as you indicated in the segment, that is, about 3.5 degrees tops Fahrenheit. I've never had to do math on TV before, so I hope you'll bear with me. That's a good goal. We are not close to reaching it, but the Paris Agreement set the frame for this report as it has set the frame for all public discussion on this topic.
Now, of course, it does not take a scientist to notice that, severe heat waves are happening more frequently, hurricanes are getting stronger, and most land areas are seeing more rain and snowfall in a year. We're seeing more flooding. These are things that human beings can observe. So are these all sort of direct results of the fact that the atmosphere is warming? And if so, how is it happening so quickly?
There's two questions there. I think the first part of your question has to do with a very, very exciting, very fast-moving kind of science that anyone who's been paying attention to news the last couple of years has become familiar with. And that's the ability to diagnose in real time whether or how much climate change is affecting an extreme weather event. We saw this happen in June when the massive heat dome took over the northwest coast of the United States and the southwest coast of Canada. Within a week of that event, scientists were able to say that that was virtually impossible without climate change. The reason they're able to do that, in short, is it has to do with big data. We've been talking about big data for many years now. Weather and climate is the original big data topic, with records going back to the middle of the 19th century. So when there's a major aberration in the data set, as there is in heat, in precipitation, in drought, in flooding, scientists are able to find our fingerprints on it. The second part of the question had to do with what to do about it.
How quickly? Right, and
yes.
how amazingly quickly it seems to be happening.
It's. I think scientists are unnerved at the speed of change. Until really June, I would say that many scientists who study heat waves had become not comfortable with their knowledge about them, because scientists are never really comfortable with their level of knowledge, but they had become accustomed to predicting what the signs of climate change were in a given heat event. The Western North American heat wave event of June was so powerful and so off the charts that it made them question the foundations. Do they really know anything about heat waves? So it's an astute and an important observation to make that this is happening very quickly. The scientists who know more about this than anyone in the world, in some cases, are struggling to catch up.
Eric Roston, thank you so much for joining us and telling us more about the important things that every human being on this planet is experiencing together. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.